I am here to teach Arabic for 1 year. Thank you for the short time. I know that your time is very valuable and very precious. Thank you very much for the time you give to listen to me. I have a short agenda today, just 5 or 6 minutes. I introduce myself. I will ask why do we need to learn a language, and then why Arabic in specific, and then I'm going to talk about my program, and I'm ready to answer your questions. As I told you, I am Ezat Gadil Mula. In my country, I am an English teacher. I teach English. I have been teaching English for 15 years now. I have a lot of certificates in education, methodology, and in technology. I am here on a program, in an exchange program. I signed a contract to stay here in the United States for 1 year, and to stay other 2 years in Egypt when I go back. For why? We will come to this later. First of all, why language? Why do you think we need to learn a language? Can anyone help? Why do we need to learn a language in general?
Understanding.
Yes, for understanding. Yes, what else? To travel, to make business. Okay, for all these reasons, we need language. Okay, so if you need to travel, if you need to understand someone, you should learn his language. Okay, okay, please. Thank you. So again, I'm Ezat Gadil Mula. I am Egyptian. I have a Bachelor of Education and English Literature. I am a senior teacher of English language and a supervisor for teachers in Egypt. I have a lot of some certificates in methodology in English language and technology. Okay, we need language to understand the cultures, to correct some misconceptions which are behind the world words, and to travel. And now the world has become one small village. So in the past, people used to live away from each other and do not need to communicate. Now it is urgent to communicate with each other. And I believe myself that if you learn more than one language, you will live more than one life. I am here, I'm Egyptian, but now I live in America. I live as an American, and I live the American culture. I'm a different person for 1 year. So it is a new life for me. So if you would like to live more than one life, you should learn more than one language. So why Arabic? The American government declared some languages are critical languages, like Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. I'm going to talk about Arabic. Why Arabic is critical now? 22 countries with several millions of people speak Arabic. Maybe some of you know that there are 22 Arab countries, others may not. Some of these countries are very rich, like Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, and they are rich in oil, and they need, if you can find jobs easily there, and of course, they pay a lot of money. So for business, for future business, you may need to learn Arabic. For some political reasons, you know the Middle East crisis, and you know that it is this territory is there are some political conflicts there. So we need, and you need also to solve these problems, to understand each other. Because if you understand someone's language, you can understand his culture, and if you understand his culture, you can understand why he behaves like this. I told you that there are some misconceptions. For example, in Egypt, if you ask them about what's a typical American, they will misconcept you. And of course, the answer, you will not be pleased to hear this answer. And of course, I am not pleased because I know in America here, the Arab people in general, and especially Muslim people, have some bad stereotype here. Okay, of course, people are people. No one likes killing, no one likes blood, but the problem is misunderstanding. And misunderstanding comes from the lack of communication. And the lack of communication comes from the lack of learning language. So for many political reasons, Arabic is declared now a critical language. Also for places when journalists for touring, you know that Egypt has 1/3 of the whole world's monuments. And everyone goes to Egypt, like I said, and I'm sure some of you have already been there and enjoyed this very much. So if you know a language, you will enjoy better touring. And of course, if you know Arabic, there are a lot of many reasons that you can think of and you may ask about after I finish. About my program is called TCLB, Teachers of Critical Language Programs. And this program is important for the American government. It is funded by the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, which is part of the U.S. Department of State, and administered by American Councils for International Education. The main objective of this program is to increase the number of Americans teaching and studying Arabic and Mandarin, Chinese language. This program is very important for both of us, for Americans and for Egyptians. And I told you at the beginning that I have signed a contract to spend here 1 year correcting some misconceptions about Egyptian people, about Arab people. I'm here to teach culture and language, not just language. I gave some cultural lessons. And when I go back to Egypt, I should spend 2 years moving around different parts of Egypt, teaching them about American cultures, American schools, and also to correct some of these misunderstandings. I'm sorry, the time is very short, but if you need to know more about my project, this is the official website for the American Council TCLB. You can learn a lot about my project, the objectives. We are here around the States, 11 Egyptian teachers and 15 Chinese around the States. I am the only one here in Iowa. And this is, I work in Notre Dame High School and also elementary school. We have online courses so that anyone can join. And we also teach using the Polycom system so that any school in Iowa or in different parts of the United States can join us. Thank you so much, and please, if you have any questions. Yes?
Well, when you came to Iowa, was this your first trip to Iowa?
Yes.
Were there any surprises? Was there anything that you didn't understand before that now you do about us?
Yes, of course. I told you, although I read a lot about America, although I am a teacher of English, and I have some connection with the culture, but up to now, I corrected a lot of things in my mind about American people and American life. I understand a lot. Of course, I am happy. I feel lucky because I know English. So that I now understand your culture, and I live as American now, and I'm proud to say this. So I advise and I call to learn a language so that you can understand others. When I came here, there are some misconceptions. I can't mention now in details because of lack of time, but a lot of them, I corrected a lot of them. I told my friend, Mr. Danchi, that American stereotype in Egypt is which we saw through media, through films. Just carrying a gun and walking in the street and killing everyone in the street. This is what we see about Americans, just American films. This is, the Americans are those people who kill people in Iraq and in Afghanistan. So when I came here, I found very nice people. Everyone waves to me while driving and walking in the street. Very friendly. Where are the guns? I hope you don't have now. Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Yes.
How prevalent is the teaching of Arabic and or Mandarin in the United States? Are there very many places where you can, where students are taught that?
Yes. Do you ask about the program or my program?
Well, no. Just I'm wondering how many places are actually teaching those languages.
Actually, I don't know much, but my program, Okay, my program, I told you that we have 15 Chinese teachers and 11 Egyptian teachers, and they are around the states, in different states. But I think Mr. Danchi can give you more accurate answer.
In Iowa, there are about 4 schools that are teaching Chinese, and there's probably maybe 2 that are teaching Arabic in the whole state, out of, 300 and some schools. This isn't much different from all Midwest, primarily in the East Coast and the West Coast. But the middle land is a wasteland as far as language learning goes, and we just simply have to change that.
Okay. More questions? Thank you very much for your precious time, and I leave the stage for my colleague, Ms. Dasha.